What is a haplo stem cell transplant? A lot of you don't know what it is. What it is it is a stem cell or bone marrow transplant using somebody that is a half match for you, typically a family member. So in my case, my mother will be my donor for my haplo transplant. So what's going to happen is I'm going through 5 days of chemo to pretty much wipe out my immune system. And then I'll go through 1 full day of radiation after that to really just mute anything that's left in my immune system. After that will become my day 0. So that's like the first day of the rest of my life is the way to think about it. So on that day, my mother, who will be getting her stem cells, not bone marrow because of her age and other things, she will sit in a room and she will basically go through like a blood filtration where the system will take her cells, put them through the machine, cherry pick which ones are the actual stem cells to prepare them to be put back into my body. And what stem cells are is they're the baby cells of your blood that reproduce to become healthy blood cells. So they'll do a collection from her, and then that same day they will be put back into me. So that will happen on December 23rd. If I need more cells, if they didn't collect enough from my mom, she'll have to come back on the 24th, happy Christmas Eve, and donate more blood to get me to where I need to be. And then after that, what we really wait for, and it's really just a waiting game. It's not a surgery. It's a procedure. It's as simple as a blood transfusion. It literally takes 15 minutes to get her cells into my body. But then we have to wait for her cells to engraft and to basically take over my body. So for those of you that don't know me and my mom look almost exactly the same. I'm thinking in my head that it's going to go really well because we already look alike. Our bodies on the inside might operate alike. But she doesn't have blood cancer, so her cells will be great to come in and take over my body. What that's going to look like afterwards, though, once her cells have started to engraft in my body, eventually I'll be able to go home from the hospital, probably a day plus 17, I would say, which would put me around like the 20th of January. I hope to come home sooner. I hope my blood counts come back up quicker than they expect. But once my blood counts come back up, they're making cells on their own, I'll be able to come home. I'll then go home to my very clean house, which has to be very clean. I will not be able to have any visitors for at least 100 days. So if I'm going home at day 20, another 80 days after being home, then maybe I can have a visitor, but that all depends on what my blood counts look like. I will have to come to Dana-Farber once a week to have my labs drawn to see how my blood is working or if I need a transfusion, any of those things, and they just monitor my progress. So that's a little bit of the basis of it. Long term, what does this mean? I run a risk of what they call graft versus host disease. My body is the host and my mother cells are grafting into my body. So at some point, my body will recognize my mom's cells as a foreign object and it's going to say, hey, I don't want you here. But that's a good sign because it means that your cells are aware that something else is going on. So they might battle a little bit inside. That can show up as a rash on the outside of my body. I could have some liver or kidney issues. I could have some lung issues. Anything could happen. So this goes on for almost a year to 2 years after the transplant. So best case scenario would be like 9 months, but it could go on longer than that. No one knows. So I will be out of work for a full year, if not longer. It all depends. So it stinks for me because I love to work. I love to be busy. I love what I do. But I really need to make sure that I am healthy because if I'm not healthy, that the rest of the world doesn't mean anything to me. So I'll be focusing on myself. I'll be living in my condo with my mom. And yeah. If you guys have any questions about anything, write them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to make a video on it. I just figured this would be a good introduction to what it actually is because so many people have no idea. Okay? Well, write me some questions and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks.